Hello, party people. This is Jen Espinosa-Goswami. I am tuning into you for my page Waitlist. And let me know if you're joining me live because I want to say hi. So the title of this video probably caught your attention. I'm not dying, and other lies you tell yourself. And I'm coming on to share this message because this is something that I used to tell myself, and I'm sure there's more than one of you listening to this video, either live or on the replay, who might have had this similar experience. So one of the things we hear a lot, as I hear a lot as a health coach, as a business owner, whatever, is creating urgency when it comes to encouraging my clients to work with me. And one of the biggest struggles I see when I connect on a complimentary phone call with folks to learn about their struggles and their issues, especially when it comes to their health and how they feel, unless they're literally knocking on death's door, hello, they feel like there's no urgency, right? That they can start a new health program anytime they want, that it doesn't really matter if they do it today or they do it a year from now, like they will get around to it eventually. And that is true, and it's also 100% BS. And let me share a little story with you about how I know that this is true and also BS at the same time. So when I was a teenager, I was significantly overweight, about 80, 90 pounds. Eventually I got to the point where I was 100, 110 pounds overweight for my size and my BMI and all that good stuff. And as a teenager, I went to my pediatrician, and my pediatrician checked my triglycerides, which basically means fat in your blood. And she said, yes, you need to lose weight. Whatever, I don't care what I have in my blood. I'm still running on the playground. Hi, I'm still doing whatever I want. I'm still biking. I'm still very active. How can you sit there and tell me that I have unhealthy fat in my blood? Whatever. So to me, that was not urgent. That was not a medical emergency. It wasn't something that I needed to focus on at that time in my life. And as a teenager, it's really easy for you to discount things that other people consider, valuable and interesting and important. As an adult, you might also struggle with that, though. Like perhaps you went to your annual exam and maybe you're not feeling 100%, but you're like, I'm just fine. I'll make do. I'm doing okay. It's not a priority right now. It's not urgent. But maybe your doctor comes up with a test result and says, ooh, yeah, you need to work on this. This is something you should do something about. Unfortunately, when you see your doctor, that's kind of where the conversation ends, right? They're not an implementation strategist. They're not going to help you figure it out. They're just going to tell you there's a problem. How do you create that urgency for yourself? Because it's not about me creating the urgency for you. It's your decision. It's your life. It's your health. I don't create that urgency for you. And I know if someone tried to create it for me, I would have told them where to go, and it probably would have been behind a door with me screaming at them. And this is how it showed up for me. So, when I was a teenager, 16, 17, I was told I had high triglycerides in my blood, fat in my blood. I was like, whatever, it's not urgent. I don't even care what you have to say to me. It's my blood. Who cares? Fast forward a couple years, and I ended up waking up at 3 a.m. with intense pain in my abdomen. Turned out I had gallstones, which are caused by poor diet. So, clearly my medical urgencies were getting more urgent and more something I should have prioritized. And in fact, I was starting to feel pain. So my early preliminary marker was there was something going on in my blood. So you might have gone to the doctor and been like, yeah, there's something weird going on in my blood. It might be something I need to look into. It may not. It's not urgent. So if you're at that stage, I encourage you to re-examine what you feel about urgency and priority, because it could quickly become something that you don't want to deal with. There was about a year between the time that I was diagnosed with high triglycerides and then I had gallstones. So it was progressing quite nicely. Unfortunately, my gallstones created even more complications for me that required me to go under the surgeon's knife. And I don't want anyone to feel like I am pressuring them or creating fear around the fact that some of their early medical markers might be an indication that they're going to end up in the hospital. That's not the case, and I'm not trying to scare anyone into a situation that makes them feel like, oh, I have to do this. Absolutely not. You have to do it when it feels right to you. I'm sharing this story because I ignored those early signs, those early red flags, if you will. It didn't feel urgent to me. Even when I was feeling intense pain in my abdomen, it still didn't feel urgent enough for me to change my diet. Even though I was reading the literature that the doctors gave me, and it said that if I stopped eating so much greasy pizza and chicken, I wouldn't be getting these gallbladder attacks super early in the morning. I wouldn't be feeling so much pain. I could manage it. There's nothing sexy about managing something, right? Whether you manage people, manage your lifestyle, manage your habits, manage your children, manage your schedule, there's absolutely nothing sexy about that. And there's also not a lot of support for managing anything. So I totally understand why you feel like that may not be an urgent situation. So luckily I was saved from my situation. My gallbladder was removed, so I stopped having the pain. I went through the surgery. I was able to dance at my junior prom, and I thought that was it, right? Well, I was still 100 pounds overweight. My initial problem that was causing my symptoms did not go away, and it wasn't going to go away until I was ready to create urgency around it, right? It had to be urgent for me. I can't tell you how to create urgency for yourself. But what I will say is learn from my example of if you have some red flags or early warning signs right now, this is the right time for you to act. Not when it becomes a medical emergency, not when you get that phone call in the middle of the night, or your spouse does because it's you who's having the emergency. Do not wait until it's at the point where you are in a critical situation. So if you have some of those early warning signs, chances are good that it's going to escalate. Chances are good if you change nothing, it's never going to get better. I mean, that's common sense, right? I don't need to sit here and tell you that. But what I will say is we have early warning systems in our body for a reason, right? We check our blood for a reason. No, not necessarily to see if you have cancer or something life-threatening. Being obese is not going to be life-threatening for the majority of people who are watching this video. You can be obese and be happy and healthy. I have no problem with that idea. You can absolutely be obese and be happy and healthy. However, if you are getting diagnosed with certain conditions or situations that are caused by being significantly overweight, then it's time to act right now. Not tomorrow, not when you get around to it, not when you have to be admitted to the hospital, not when you have to completely abandon your life for weeks on end because it became an emergency. Now is the right time to act. Even if it doesn't feel like the right time, even if you're uncomfortable with what they may mean, like do you have to seek support? Do you have to do a program? Do you have to pay money? I mean, there's lots of uncomfortable situations that could come up for you, but you are worth it. And if you can save yourself time, energy, whatever, pain in the future, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you save yourself a medical emergency if you could? I know I would like to. I can look at my early warning signs today. Oh, I'm not feeling so well. Oh, my stomach is having issues. I need to do something about this. I now have different urgency around those little warning signs that my body is sending me. So first of all, I want to say the purpose of this video is recognizing your early warning signs. Do you know what they are? Are you recognizing them? Are you acknowledging them? Are you indicating to yourself that this is a sign that I need to take some sort of action? Yes, if you're at that point, great. You're wonderful. Now, what type of action should you be taking? It depends entirely on what you're dealing with. And here's why I would like to invite you to a phone call with me. It's a complimentary phone call. I am not going to beat you down for whatever it is you're dealing with in your life. I've dealt with enough things in my life medically and otherwise. I have no cause to beat anyone else down for what they're dealing with. But I am a very sympathetic ear, and I could probably strategize with you for some specific actions you can implement. Remember, we talked about doctors and how they don't implement anything. They tell you there's a situation and they leave it at that. Well, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to give you a couple of action steps you can take to implement today on a free phone call, 30 minutes of your time. If you're dealing with some early warning signs right now, then 30 minutes of your time is the absolutely priceless thing you can do for yourself right now. And take away 1 or 2 specific strategic actions you can implement right away. I'm not going to tell you to become like, crazy clean eating machine and exercise 5 hours a day. That's not sustainable. And I'm never going to recommend something to someone that is not sustainable for them. I understand what you're going through. I will help you figure out the next steps for you. And from there, it's entirely up to you what type of action and support you need to take. But everything starts with a single action. I encourage you to connect with me on a phone call. I call them weight loss breakthrough sessions. They will be impactful and powerful and give you what you need right now so you can implement some of these changes and prevent a medical emergency. This is your urgency. If you've already been notified that something is different, something is off in your body, this is your urgency. This is a public service announcement, it sounds like, from Jen Espinosa-Goswami. Look underneath this video for the link to connect with me for a complimentary phone call. Again, it's a weight loss breakthrough session. We will figure out what you need right now and how you can make it happen in your life. We can talk about other options of working together if we're a good fit for each other, but there's no obligation whatsoever. I just want you to feel supported where you are today and not be left hanging after that doctor's office and say to yourself, now what? Now what? We can figure that out together, and I'd love to connect with you and learn more about your situation. This is Jen Espinosa-Goswami. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to schedule your phone call, and I can't wait to connect. Bye-bye.